Hello, everybody. Welcome into Talking Fitchburg on this Wednesday, March 10th, 2021. I'm Jeremy Crosby. Hope you had a wonderful day. Glad you're tuning in with us here on Talking Fitchburg. It's a Public Safety Wednesday. And why do I say that? Well, I mean, I love public safety, so there's that. But we're actually going to check in with the Fitchburg Fire Department, give you a tour of one of the engines. If you missed that video, we're going to replay that for you. Plus, we're going to jump over to the ambulance side of things and check in with Fitrona's Jeff Doslick. He'll tell us about the ventilators that were recently purchased, and we'll bring you that story again as well today here on Talking Fitchburg. So very excited to show you those pieces again, and we'll get to those here in just a little bit of time. But we do got to get right to the headlines, and we start with same-day curbside pickup at the library. If you haven't checked in recently, wanted to make sure that we keep you updated. While there hasn't been any significant changes, here's where it stands as of today. So please know that the service is subject to change. So that's very important here. So how to schedule a pickup beginning Monday, November 21st. Please call us at 608-729-1790 when you call Monday through Thursday. It's between 9 a.m. and 7 p.m. Fridays and Saturdays, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Please note, number one, face masks are required when you're picking up your curbside orders. Number two, social distancing should be maintained with all patrons and staff who are placing books out for pickup. Very important. Want to keep everybody safe as you come out for this. Curbside is for same-day pickup only. Pickups can be requested once per day. Items that are currently waiting for you on the hold shelf can be ready for pickup within 1 hour. And items that are available in our library can be ready for pickup within 2 hours. So you can check out the instructions on that. Orders need to be picked up within 2 hours. Have your library card number ready. And if you do not reach us on the first try, just try again. There's a lot of people are using this. By the way, they're crossing 20,000 orders there for curbside. That's a lot of materials moving through there. So great job there with all the library staff. Orders must be placed directly with the staff and cannot be arranged over voicemail or email. Hours for pickup again, Mondays and Thursdays, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Fridays and Saturdays, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. And returning materials, you can return those through, acceptable through the brick drop 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Make sure you come off the street side. I saw somebody drive the wrong way yesterday into the book drop. So when you come off of Lacey, you take that first left right away and then drive into it. You shouldn't be coming in, and if your driver's side is facing towards the parking lot, and that would be the City Hall parking lot, you've done it wrong. I'm just saying, if you have to get out of your car, it's probably not working for you. You've gone in the wrong way. Returns will be accepted through our drive or through pickup, again, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Return items will be quarantined up to a week before they are checked in, and we are not taking donations still at this time. So good information there from the library. Check it out. If you haven't checked out, they've got all those magazines now that have no weights on it. So I've been waiting to go see if they've got some good fishing ones so I can beat Andrew in this fishing contest this summer they didn't even know about. All right, advanced directives with elder law attorney. This is coming up here. Be happy, be healthy, be happy. And I hope you join us for this series for information. These happen on Zoom. And the next one here coming up is the advanced directives with elder law attorney. Come learn about the legal details of advanced directives and more. And Mark here will be giving a presentation, an overview of the advanced directives, including what's the difference between power of attorney and living wills and versus do not resuscitate or DNR orders and more. Q&A, it's all there. You need to get registered here for this by the 15th. And it's a minimal of 5 required to get this program off the ground and running. All right, public information meeting coming up here. I want to tell you about this one. This is with the transit strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities for future. This public meeting is scheduled tomorrow at 6:45 p.m. It's during the Transportation and Transit Commission meeting. So don't be, if you're like, wait, I'm in a transportation meeting. Well, yeah. public meetings within that meeting. That happens pretty regularly, by the way. If you would like more information about the project or how to talk during this one, it's all at our website, fitchburgwi.gov. All right, that does it for our headlines. Coming up next, we open up our digest segment. We're going to talk about Fitchburg fire engines. We've got a couple of them. We're going to share the details, what's inside of those things, next right here on Talking Fitchburg.
Whoa, we scored?
Yeah, we scored. We're going to the playoffs.
I can't believe I missed that.
Every time I'm buzzed, I spend too much time on my phone.
What? I should take your phone away.
No. I'll call for a ride. Hey, why does my face look like that? I'm playing with these new face filters.
Okay, you know what? Yep, that's mine.
I'm gonna need that back.
No.
Kevin!
Gaining weight was easy. All I had to do was sit down and eat. Losing weight's a lot harder. I have to work at it every day. But with every step, I lower my risk for type 2 diabetes and heart disease. And that makes every step, every choice, every day very much worth the effort.
Learn how you can help stop diabetes by losing weight, eating healthy, and staying active. Visit checkupamerica.org or call 1-800-DIABETES.
Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg in the digest, and today we're going to take a look back at a piece. We did a fun interview with Adam Dorn, and we were like, why can't we just show off some fire engines? Like, let's do something cool here, right? Well, Dorn lined us up, and we're about to tour engine number 3.
We're standing in front of an engine company here in the city of Fitchburg. This is one of 3 engine companies that we have in service. An engine company is designed to carry water, hose, and personnel to get from the firehouse to the incident location, and its primary mission is to extinguish fires. What are some of the items that you might find on an engine company in the city of Fitchburg? Well, where I'm standing right now, we're next to the cab. So in the cab, you'll find where the firefighters sit. So we have seats, but we just don't have a regular seat like you have in a vehicle. Our seats actually have our air packs built into the seats. So when we go to a call, we can actually be wearing and putting on our air packs. So when we get to the incident location, we can come out of our seat with everything that we need already on us to go to work. We are standing in front of what we call our pump panel. Our pump panel controls all of the water movement in our vehicle. So from this pump panel, we can use these controls here to let water into the pump. The controls up here all control water going out of the pump. You'll also find hose and water on our engine companies. We have a lot of hose. That is by design so that we can effectively and efficiently put out fires that are all sorts of different sizes and distances from our engine companies. All of these hose sections are pre-connected to the engine. It's set up that all we have to do is open up a valve and we have water in our hose. So in our yellow and green hose down here, they're about 200 feet long. And in order for us to effectively use those to put out a fire, we have to have about 150 PSI at the end of the hose so that the nozzles work like they should. The blue hose up top is 200 feet long. That's 2.5 inches in diameter. The yellow and the green hose is about 1.75 inches. So it's a smaller hose. So when you think about it generically, we use a smaller hose on smaller fires, or the smaller hose where we have to move around a bunch of corners, such as a house. If a room was on fire in a house, we would use that. If it was a larger building or if there were multiple areas on fire or just a large area in general, we would use the blue hose. The blue hose puts out about 250 gallons per minute. In comparison, the yellow and the green hose, the 1.75 inches, puts out about 150 gallons per minute. So our engine companies are equipped with a lot of different tools. As you can see, there's 3 tools here, but on the back side of this board, we've got about 6 or 8 more tools that we can use for all sorts of different types of situations. Some of the ones that we have here, there's a sledgehammer. This is actually a pickhead axe. And up here we have what we call a closet hook. It's a 3-foot long pike pole that we can get into small areas with that. With all of these tools, we can use them to go through walls. We can pull walls apart. A lot of times the pike pole and the pickhead axe we use to find fire inside the walls. Or if we have to go through one item to another or break locks, we can use all of these kinds of tools to do that kind of stuff. So in this compartment, we have a number of different items in here that are kind of across the spectrum of what we do with Engine Company. On the bottom, you'll see our traffic management devices, or traffic safety cones. As you could see, we have an extra section of 1.5 or 1.75 hose, and we also have what we call our hydrant bag. In our hydrant bag, we have everything that we need to hook up our 4-inch hose to a hydrant. That hose supplies the engine with the water that we need to fight fires. So when one of our firefighters gets off the truck at the fire hydrant, they take that bag along with the 4-inch hose and can use that to connect the hose to the hydrant. In this bucket here, we actually have what we call our decon kit. So when we are at a fire, we can generally get very dirty. We have debris all over our equipment. We use a small garden hose and a stiff bristled brush in there to get all of the big, we call it gross decon, the big stuff off of our equipment so we don't put it in the truck or in the engine. That way we can try to prevent us from contracting cancer. Cancer is one of our biggest killers in the fire service, so we try to do whatever we can to prevent and take care of ourselves from contracting that. So now we're standing in front of the back of our engine. In the back of our engine, you'll see we have our tarp, and behind the tarp is our hose. Well, how do we get to that hose? Just like we kind of saw before, we're going to take the orange strap, pull on this, and it's going to fall down for us. So now we have access to our hose. This yellow hose that you see is what we call large diameter hose. It's 4 inches in diameter, and it's set up with this strap so that when we need to connect this to a hydrant, we actually can just loop this big loop over the top of the hydrant, and then the engine can drive away and it will pull off the hose from the back of the truck. So we have 1,000 feet of this 4-inch hose on the back of the truck. We actually have 1,075 feet of 4-inch hose on the truck altogether. Up on top, you'll also see some blue 2.5-inch hose. That is not connected to anything, nor is this. Neither one of these hoses off the back are connected to anything on the truck. So if we were to just drop it at a hydrant and drive away, after 1,000 feet, we could still be driving, but we wouldn't be doing ourselves any good. So we need to know how far the hydrant is away from where we need to end up. So on most fire engines, you will also see ladders. Ground ladders is what we call them. They're extension ladders. 24-foot extension ladder, maybe a 12 or 14-foot roof ladder with hooks on the end of them so that we can put the hooks over the top of the roof so it doesn't slide off when we go to climb on it. Well, you haven't seen where the ladders are on our truck yet, but normally they're on the passenger side of a fire engine, mounted right here, but they're not there, so where are they? Well, over the years, the evolution of a fire engine has come to the point where they're now stored on top. But how do we get to them? That is a great question, and I'm glad you asked it. It's real simple. For us, we turn on the master switch for power for the ladder rack, and we press a lever, and the whole side will come down, and our ladders are easily accessible at that point. So in this compartment here, we have hose and cribbing. The cribbing down here is what we use to stabilize vehicles that have been involved in a car accident. We have some 4x4 cribbing and some what we call step chocks. So we use those to go under the wheels or under the vehicle where the framework, we can make that connect to the ground so it doesn't move when we work in the vehicle. On this shelf here, we actually have our water rescue equipment. So we have what we call our noodles, flotation devices. We've got a couple rope bags in here for connecting to the people that would be wearing our Gumby suits. We also have a throw rope in here and life jackets. On the bottom, we have an electric positive pressure ventilation fan, and we also have a Class D fire extinguisher. In this area here, we have our combination Hearst tool. It is basically one aspect of the jaws of life. On top, we have what we call our strut bag. That has all of the attachments and webbing that we need to use our struts, which are located on the back side of the Hearst tool here. And then over here, we have another strut, a big grain shovel, and what we like to call our irons. The irons are basically two different tools when combined. We call it the irons. We have a Halligan bar and a flathead axe. These two tools work extremely well together, and that's exactly why you'll see the groove here in the head of the axe, that this actually pairs up with it perfectly. This here is basically the key to any building that we need to get into that we don't have keys for. We can get into the building with this. We're back here at the front of the engine, and this is where a lot of this action takes place when we are going to a call. This is where our siren is located. This is the siren. This is what you hear when we're going down the road. As you can see, we got red lights here. We also have a light bar up top, which doesn't look red right now, but once the light bar is turned on, it does show up red and white. The driver sits over here. The other side is where the officer sits. You can probably see through the windshield there that we actually have a computer in the front seat there. That computer gives us all of the information that we need to know about the call, where to go, what it's for, who the caller might be if we have to get a hold of somebody. It has all that information in it. So we've talked a lot about the fire aspect of each of these roles, but the reality is we do not go to a lot of fires that are actively working. A lot of the calls that we go to are EMS calls or car accidents or fire alarms. And each of these positions also have a specific role in each one of those types of incidents. As an example, the nozzle firefighter at a car accident may still pull the line, the pre-connected hose and be ready to put out a fire, but the hydrant firefighter is not going to connect to a hydrant. They're going to be using the hydraulic tools to try and get the person out of the vehicle or just check on that person in the vehicle. So each incident that we go to is not the same, but there are many different types of incidents that we go to where all of our roles change just a little bit as to what we need to accomplish. Normally on an engine, we have 4 people working on an engine company. Sometimes we might have 5 if we have someone that's going through training. They will ride along with us to get the experience, and we'll let them participate as part of the engine company. But normally it's 4 people, and in the city of Fitchburg we have 2 firehouses that are staffed 24 hours a day. We have 4 people at each firehouse, plus we have a OIC, or an officer in charge. So they are in charge of everything that happens in the city for that shift.
All right, there you have it. We'll be coming out, by the way, with taking a look at Truck 1. That's the ladder truck here in Fitchburg. That's coming out real soon. Wrapping that one up here in the editing process right now. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Coming up next, we're continuing Public Safety Wednesday. We're going to talk with Fitch-Rona EMS, Jeff Doslick, about their ventilators. Next right here on Talking Fitchburg.
After you joined our family, it was like, I really do feel complete now.
It takes all of us to slow the spread of the coronavirus. So follow guidance from authorities where you live and stay home unless absolutely necessary. Use a delivery service for essential items like food and medicine. If you must make essential trips, stay 6 feet apart from other people. Wear a cloth face covering and wash your hands for at least 20 seconds as often as possible. Visit coronavirus.gov for the latest information.
We're all just trying to keep things running for those who rely on us.
Ready!
That's why we don't have time to be sick with the flu. And especially this year, no one has time to get sick. Get a flu shot for yourself and those around you too.
Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Today we're gonna, in our guest segment, we're gonna take a look at the ventilators. So ventilators were purchased recently at Fitchburg EMS, and Jeff Doslick is here to share how it all works.
I wanted to stop in today to talk to you a little bit about a ventilator that we were able to purchase with some of the grant money that was released from the federal government, the CARES Act grant money, and ventilators fell within that category. And we were able to purchase some transport ventilators that we think will make a big difference in patient care as we go through cardiac arrests and some of the patients that have some respiratory issues. And so today I just wanted to show you the Z-Vent that we got from Zoll Medical. So these are currently on each of our frontline ambulances, one, the two in Fitchburg and the one here in Verona. We've used it a couple of times already. The vent allows us to provide a consistent number of breaths per minute, tidal volume, so the amount of air that goes into somebody's chest, the percent of oxygen, and where in normal cardiac arrest, we're doing bag valve mask ventilation. Sometimes that can be inconsistent with just driving down the road, lots of other stuff going on in the ambulance. And so the vent will allow us to set all of those parameters for a patient based on their weight, their height, set the vent up, and it breathes for the patient on its own. So just to demonstrate the vent here, so we'll turn the vent on here. So this will be the initial startup. The vent will run through a self-check quick. We have our test lung on here so that at least as it's breathing breathing into some sort of bellows in order for it not to alarm all the time. So on the display here, it will show the tidal volume. That's something that we can adjust based on patient weight and height. We have a chart in the ambulance for that. We also can set the breath rate. So we have it set at 12. You'll see on the vent here, we can adjust that based on the patient's end tidal or pulse oximetry. We can make adjustments there. We can make adjustments to what we call the fraction of inspired air, the FiO2. We breathe as normal humans. We breathe 21%. Somebody that has a low pulse oximetry or is not breathing on their own, we can increase that to give them more oxygen. Most of the time we'll increase it to 40%. And then the other things here are just some displays that will alarm if we have to provide some airway management for somebody by suctioning them, or we have a leak somewhere. We get alarms that happens as well. The piece of equipment, what we call it a circuit, the oxygen tubing or the tubing that provides the air connects to the top. Then we have a couple of sensor tubings that go in here, and that senses the pressure in the patient if we need to suction somebody or if we have a leak somewhere. That's what these are for. And then in the event that we want to apply more oxygen than the 21%, we have a long oxygen tube that can hook right onto here, and that gives them plenty of oxygen. The other part of the circuit here is it does have a filter on the end. So this short piece of tubing right here is where the exhalation of the patient, when the patient exhales, their air comes out of here. Obviously, especially patients that are really sick or that may potentially have COVID-19, we want to filter that air. Obviously, all of this is disposable, one-time use only, and then it's thrown away. The other important part of the vent for us is the ability to provide CPAP and BiPAP for patients that are having respiratory distress. Now, we can provide CPAP now with a mask such as this one, where we just adjust the amount of oxygen going in, gives them the pressure. For those of you that are on CPAP, you know what I'm talking about. The other important thing is that with the ventilator, we can provide BiPAP as well. So where CPAP is a continuous positive airway pressure, lots of oxygen coming in at the same time continuously. BiPAP gives you pressure on inhalation and exhalation. So it's much more comfortable for patients. If you've been taken to the hospital and put on BiPAP, you know that somebody on BiPAP breathes a lot easier if they're having respiratory distress than they are on CPAP. So the ventilator allows us to make that switch as well. And I think that's really important, especially in the time that we are with COVID, where we can put somebody on BiPAP. It's an enclosed system with an enclosed circuit, and they can breathe on their own, and it's a little bit safer for the providers as well. So a mask similar to this one is the mask that we use. We turn the machine on, it runs through the same checks that it does before, and then we just hook it up to here, and it provides that continuous positive airway pressure. So we just demonstrate for a patient here. We've got the test lung on, otherwise it really won't breathe for the patient. But for example, we have somebody, one of our training mannequins that is intubated here. When we're ready to go, we've turned the vent on, our vent circuit. It has a filter on the end of it, so when the patient exhales, you know, we can filter that breath. We would just hook it up to the patient like this. And because the vent is not very compliant with the chest here, it will breathe for the patient. So just make the assumption that if it's, you know, breathing like this, there's air going into the chest. The reason why we looked at ventilators is for a couple of reasons. One, we feel that it obviously provides better patient care. So patients that are in respiratory distress, we're able to do BiPAP and CPAP. Patients that are in cardiac arrest, overdose patients, we're able to provide a better patient care when breathing for them. The other reason is that ventilators fell within that category. If, you know, we know at the onset of the pandemic, there was some concern about the shortage of ventilators in the hospital setting. The crews have all gone through an extensive training on how to use the vent. We've done vent training almost every month. We've had them on for a couple of months. We do vent training almost every month to keep up on their skills. And in fact, we've deployed the vent, I think, 4 times total in the last 30 days. And we know that it's provided better patient care because of, you know, what it does is breathing for the patient, as opposed to, even though we do good patient care, there's lots of little intricacies in running a cardiac arrest where this helps out.
All right, we want to thank Jeff Doslick for sharing that information. All of the videos that we've played today, and we always play for our guest segments, we post them up online at Facebook and YouTube. You can check those out anytime at your own free will. Just saying. All right, we're going to wrap up the show next. Stay tuned. You're watching TF.
Find good stuff at Goodwill and bring good home.
See on page 4 that the projections need to be blood. Next Thursday?
Seriously? Thursday? Can't do that.
This is really inconvenient.
I have yoga that day.
I have no time for this.
So.
I can't do Thursday, but I can do Friday.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
Well, welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Wrapping up the show for the day. I want to then thank the Fitchburg Fire Department and Fitchburg EMS for being guests on the show today. We'll have our regular monthly segments with those folks later this month. And now I do want to tell you, too, coming up the rest of the week, we got some great stuff lined up for you. We'll have a Hy-Vee interview coming up. There goes my light. And that was my own fault right there. Just falling apart over here on the TF set. Maybe I should stay back at the office from now on, Andrew. Just saying. And we're checking in with the Fitchburg Star later at the end of the week. All right, get off of me before people see all this. All right, stay connected. I hope you come back and watch again.